If you drive a sporty or performance-focused vehicle and you want one tire to drive in all seasons, but you're only willing to sacrifice a minimum of that car's sporty character, an Ultra High Performance All-Season tire is the best choice.
Ultra High Performance All-Season is a very competitive category for tire manufacturers, and every new tire seems to use the current segment leader as a benchmark. So we decided to compare the newest offerings to the best in their competitive set. We took the Cooper Xeon RS3 G1 and Kumho Exta PA51 and ran them through our full evaluation alongside the BF Goodrich G-Force Comp 2 AS and General G-Max AS05. Let's see what we found out. On our road ride loop, the G-Max AS05 feels sporty thanks to immediate response to steering inputs and a firmly controlled ride. Some tread and impact noise make their way into the cabin, but the overall volume is acceptable given the performance focus. The Xeon RS3 G1 feels similar to the General with sharp turn-in, but it isn't quite as natural and has a small dead spot on center. Some excess vertical movement after bumps also makes the ride feel a little unsettled. The G-Force Comp 2 AS delivers solid on-center feel and responds to the driver's commands that are just right for an ultra-high performance all-season tire, but it brings along with it some noticeable tread growl on all surfaces. As a bit of a contrast to the rest of the group, the Exta PA51 has a more laid-back feel, with a soft ride that absorbs impacts well, but lacks the composure of the others. Similarly, the steering's light with slightly delayed response. Tread noise comes at a moderate volume, but it's a broad, white tone that fades into the background. As the name implies, ultra-high performance all-season tires represent the highest level of performance in all-season products, and all the tires in our test are highly capable when pushed. The G-Force Comp 2 AS has impressive grip in the dry and a stable, controlled nature that allows the driver to place the vehicle with precision through big turns and small transitions. The G-Max AS05 feels more bright and alive around the track, with some movement at the rear that tells you all four tires are actively involved in the cornering process. Best in test skid pad figures mean the Xeon RS3 G1 grips tightly through steady-state corners, and quick reflexes are just slightly hampered by a small delay following the initial response. Like we found on the road, the Exta PA51 isn't as sharp as the rest of the group. It doesn't like to be rushed with big, abrupt inputs, but if the driver's smooth and doesn't overdrive, the Kumho is just as fast as the best in the test. The strong braking and ultimate lateral grip of the G-Force Comp 2 AS tie for best objective figures in our wet testing, and the overall handling balance leans towards some mild understeer, which is our team's subjective favorite as well. The G-Max AS05 feels just as lively in the wet as it does in the dry, and even though it's capable of the fastest laps in the test, it requires a lot of trust and confidence from the driver to push it to that level. Drivers have to trust the Xeon RS3 G1 in a similar way. The strong front-end authority feels like it could upset the rear due to how immediately it responds, but in reality it's well balanced. The Exta PA51 doesn't fare as well as the rest of the group due to limits that are moderately lower and a tendency to oversteer through the fastest turns on our track. The General G-Max AS05 feels the most overtly performance-focused in this test, with a taut ride, immediate steering response, and natural athleticism on the track in the wet and the dry. The BF Goodrich G-Force Comp 2 AS has a confident and capable demeanor on the road and the track, with direct, natural steering and some noticeable tread growl on all surfaces. The Cooper Xeon RS3 G1 is likely to satisfy drivers who are shopping for a performance tire, thanks to sporty handling and acceptable comfort on the road, though it could use a little refinement in some areas. The Kumho Exta PA51 doesn't feel quite as sharp as the rest of the group, with a softer ride and reflexes that are a little slower to respond. It's evenly matched with the best in the test for dry lap times, and it falls a step behind in the wet. Watch for our winter performance evaluation of these ultra-high performance all-season tires after our 2019 winter testing.
As we compare tires side by side, we find each one has its own personality. It's not as easy as simply choosing between good and bad. So as you view our test results, it's important to focus on your priorities and what fits best with how, where, and what you drive. And also be sure to go to TireRack.com to read our full test report and to learn more about the tires featured in this test.